Hey everyone, welcome back to RamyWorks 360. If you're new to my channel, my name is Charlie, and in today's video, we're going to be building and painting the US Cougar MRAP vehicle. This is an up-armored vehicle that was used in both Iraq and Afghanistan during the Global War on Terrorism deployments. During my Afghanistan deployment, I never actually used this vehicle. However, we did escort one of the human relations groups around in this vehicle. It's pretty spacious and maybe a little comfortable. Anyways, this kit is very detailed and fairly easy to build and paint. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
Now, you may be wondering why I'm starting off with the boxes and everything looks like it's already built. Well, funny story, I accidentally deleted pretty much the whole build. I can't even Quentin Tarantino this, starting in the middle and then go into the beginning because it's gone. So, this will have to do. Next up were the windows. I'd never had to mask windows like this before, so I figured I'd do something a little bit different. I put some blue tape down on my cutting mat, laid the clear parts over the tape, and traced around them with my hobby knife. It wasn't exactly a precision operation, but it worked well enough. After a little tweaking, I had all the windows masked and ready for paint. From there, I attached the rear doors, installed the top hatch, and assembled the turret. With those final pieces in place, the build was just about complete. The turret went together a little easier than I was expecting. I glued the side pieces to the back, and then I had to bend the front of the side pieces, and then glue the front. And of course, how can you forget the antennas? These went on super easy. And here we are with all the main pieces. I'll end up putting the front doors on before I prime. With the build complete, I moved on to priming. I started with the interior, then worked my way to the undercarriage before finally covering the exterior of the vehicle. A good coat of primer not only helps the paint adhere better, but it also reveals any imperfections that might have been missed during the construction process. As I started to prime the top, I noticed that I was missing the front windows, so I went ahead and taped those up so I wouldn't get spray on those. Next, I laid down a zenithal highlight using Tamiya's flat white. Spraying from above, I focused on the areas that would naturally receive the most light while leaving the lower areas a little bit darker. This helps create depth and visual interest, preventing the vehicle from looking flat once the base coat is applied. As recommended by Solomon over at 11 Charlie Scale Modeling, I decided to give Vallejo's US Modern Desert Color set a try. The set includes 6 colors, designed specifically for creating highlights, shadows, gradients, and color variation on modern military vehicles. Rather than relying on a single paint color, the system helps create a more realistic finish with added depth and visual interest. For this build, I'm keeping things fairly simple and just using 3 of the colors: US Desert Armor, 686, Ivory, and Aged White. I'm laying down a base coat of US Desert Armor over the entire vehicle. Thanks to the zenithal highlight underneath, I don't need to completely bury the white. Instead, I'm applying several light coats, allowing some of the highlights to subtly show through and create that natural variation in the finish. Once I had the base coat applied to the exterior, I followed the same process I used during priming and turned my attention to the interior and undercarriage. The interior received a coat of US Desert Armor, making sure to cover all the seats, walls, and visible components before the vehicle was fully buttoned up. From there, I moved underneath the Cougar and painted the suspension, axles, and lower hull. While much of this area won't be highly visible once the model is displayed, I still wanted everything to have a consistent finish. Once that was complete, I switched over to Ivory. Using my airbrush, I focused on the upper surfaces and areas that would naturally receive the most sunlight, such as the hood, roof, turret, and the tops of the doors. By gradually building up the color in thin layers, I was able to create a smooth transition between the darker base coat and the lighter highlights. With the base coat and ivory highlights complete, it was time for the final color, aged white. I focused this color on the highest points of the vehicle and areas that would naturally catch the most sunlight. I used it much more sparingly than the ivory, building up subtle highlights on the roof, hood, turret, and upper edges of the vehicle. With the airbrush finished, I peeled off all the tape covering the windows. I'm not gonna lie, this was incredibly satisfying. There's always that moment of uncertainty when you start pulling the masking off, wondering if everything worked the way you hoped. Fortunately, most of the windows came out nice and clean, and it was rewarding to finally see all that prep work pay off. With the major painting complete, all that remained was the detail work. I grabbed my brush and started picking out all the smaller features, including lights, machine gun, etc. The Cougar became one of the most recognizable vehicles of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, designed to protect soldiers from one of the battlefield's most dangerous threats, the roadside bombs. Its distinctive V-shaped hull and heavy armor helped save countless lives throughout the global war on terror. As someone who spent 10 years in the Army, building modern military subjects like this always carries a little extra meaning. It's a chance to recreate a vehicle that many service members relied on and bring a small piece of that history to life in scale. I have to say, I'm really happy with how this one turned out. The Vallejo US Modern Desert Colors set produced some excellent color variation. Meng's engineering made for a smooth and enjoyable build. Let me know in the comments what you think of the finished Cougar and what military modern vehicle you'd like to see me on the bench with next. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.